What's up, team? We are rocking and rolling with the one and only Phil Pelto. In this video, we are going to be covering why continuous improvement is the ultimate education. We got 3 points for you today, but before we dive into it, Phil, what do we want to give them, my friend? It's something free and something high value. What is it?
A MasterClass.
MasterClass, man. You want to develop an online course in 90 days or less? Save $10,000 or more in the process? Link below, click it. Let's rock and roll. Let's dive into this video, man.
Yeah,
Ready?
Let's go.
All right, baby, let's go. Okay, so number one is repetition is the mother of all skill. Phil, especially as the networking relationship development king, I cannot wait to hear your insight on this. Strap your seatbelts on, team. So number one, repetition.
This is one of those topics where nobody likes to do the boring stuff, right? Nobody likes to be shooting layups and, going out, and I used to do martial arts when I was a kid. Nobody likes to learn how to stand and get your stance right and do a front kick and a punch. Give me the stuff where it's the spinny kicks and I want to do three
cool stuff.
Yeah, 3-pointers.
Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee.
Yeah, exactly. I mean? Yeah, it's nobody wants to do the boring stuff. Wax on, wax off. Okay. But that's the stuff that's going to make you really, really, really good at what it is. And when you're in that moment where you need to make that clutch shot, and it's like a 5-footer, you're going to be able to do it because you've done it a million times.
100%. And when you look at repetition and whatnot, one thing that it screams is action, right?
Yeah.
You can learn and learn and learn, which of course that's the first part. You need to learn something in order to be able to execute on that very thing, right? But let's take relationship and networking, right?
Yep.
If I learn the skill on, how to ask questions, right?
Yeah.
If I do it only once, then I can read all the books in the world, but if I only just do it once, it's just not enough. But the more questions you ask, the more, you practice on those skill sets, you're gonna see just naturally when you go to a networking event, meeting people, it just becomes natural all of a sudden because you just have repeated that process consistently.
And I would say also you need to practice it, and then you need to review what you've done and make sure that you're constantly improving. You can't just do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, which I think brings us to our second point, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Number two. What a transition, ladies and gentlemen.
Look at me. Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So you've got to make sure that you're doing all the necessary things. You're making sure that you're if you're doing that layup, okay, I got my elbow in, or the free throw, sorry. I don't know, I don't play basketball, clearly. When I was in 6th grade, I played basketball, and I went back and I looked at my stats, and I had scored, guess how many points for the entire season?
Well, you are 6'4", so I'm expecting 40 points, Phil. Come on.
Boom, goose egg.
Oh my God, a goose egg? Are you serious?
A goose egg. I can ski, I can do martial arts. I'm good at the relationship building stuff, but other than that, kind of useless as far as sports go.
Well, I also want, there's so much, Phil has so many amazing stories. He's done so much, and he's just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. One thing, one of the stories that you shared that I loved, and it really talks about number one and number two.
Yeah.
Right, is your story with Cutco. Enlighten us. Tell the crew going door to door, building teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So, I mean, some of you are probably familiar. There's a lot of kids that have sold Cutco over the years.
Mm-hmm.
But I got recruited when I was 17, and I started out, just figuring out how to do it, right? And I didn't know if it was going to be a good fit or not. But I was young enough and dumb enough and hungry enough for money that I listened to what they said, right? And they said, go out, you build this list of people that you're going to call, you start with your friends and family, and then you get referrals from there, right? That's how it started, and it turned out I was pretty good at it, and I really enjoyed it. And then I started an office, and I recruited 1,100 kids, taught them all how to sell, and it was one of the first. I had done a couple of sales things prior to that, but that's kind of the beginnings of what I'm doing now. And it was great education. I highly recommend that or any other sales thing. I mean, there's Southwest Books. Hell, sell newspapers. I don't care.
Yeah.
Sales is a great skill to have.
For those of you that may not know, Cutco, the organization, the big part of that is you're going door to door. You're knocking on people's doors. Talk about repetition. You're going door, 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 door. You're practicing your skills, not just when you're talking to people, but also with your team. When you're at that office, you're sitting around with your colleagues. What did you do? You role play. You just keep working on it. You keep working on yourself. You keep learning from others. You keep learning from just getting yourself so involved in that skill that when you're there, man, you just rock it. You know, I just love that story. You grew teams and whatnot, and the hardest type of selling to do is door-to-door, and you killed it.
The biggest reason that I was successful, and I think any successful Cutco rep that's successful, it masters the skill of asking for referrals. So when you're sitting down with somebody, you know, you've pitched to somebody to say, hey, thanks for your time. I need you to refer me to your friends. And that's how you really take it to the next level. Because like, I've cold called before, I'm okay at it, you know, but it sucks, right? And
it's not fun. You don't see people, you know what I mean? It's just I'm right there with you, man. I don't like cold calling either.
But to your point about, you know, practicing and getting that repetition in, you know, you've got to get your pitch down. You got to get your ask down for asking for those referrals and knowing exactly. I mean, I had like, you know, how I handed the pen to somebody and like the exact words and the tone and the tempo and inflection. All of it was just spot on. I did it the exact same every single time. And it got to the point where I was so good at it and every one of my clients and my prospects knew what was coming that I had times where I'd show up at somebody's house and they'd actually have a list printed out for me of referrals because they knew I was gonna ask for them. So.
Oh my gosh, you see what happens? That is awesome. And that's a perfect lead into number 3. And this is something that you shared that I absolutely love. We absolutely love and can't wait to dig into it.
It's a Cicero quote, and it says, to know and not to do is not to know it all. So basically, you hear all these things, right? You're gonna hear us talk and you're gonna, you know, listen to some stuff on this channel and you're gonna be like, well, duh, I know that. That's Bush League stuff, guys. Like, why are you talking about, you know, why don't you tell us more about how I should save money and, you know, drink less and, you know, work out. Like,
lose 10 pounds, get a six-pack.
Right, exactly. But the thing is that, you know, yes, you hear all that stuff a lot, but if you're not doing it, are you implementing it? You know, are you actually, you know, using the things that you know? And there's an argument to be made, a strong argument, by the way, that if you're not doing it, do you really know it? You know, have you internalized it? Have you like embraced it? You know, like, yeah, I should probably run a little bit more. Oh, I should probably drink a little bit less. You know, like, but if you're not doing it, like, really? Do you know that?
100%. And I want to add an extra layer to that, right? Which is there's another saying which I used to agree with, but kind of going to this, I don't really anymore. Which is, you know, knowledge is power. Knowledge isn't power unless you do.
Right, exactly.
You know, you have to do. Action is power.
Yeah.
Now, again, you can't do without knowing. But that it comes down again to action, right? Don't just sit there and say, oh yeah, I know how to do that. I read about it. I watched a video about it. I've seen other people do it. Get out there, do it, repeat it, right? Keep practicing it.
Yeah.
And you're gonna just see that skill set just elevating, getting better and better and better.
And a little plug for, you know, some of the stuff that we're talking about and doing right now is like, record yourself doing it, make a video, and then watch it back, because there's a lot of things that you'll do and you kind of numb to it. You know, you don't realize that you're doing it. And then you see it on video. Like I do speeches a lot of times and I say a lot, I say and, you know, screw up and make little filler words and blah, blah, blah. But you film that and you watch it back and you're like, oh crap, I need to stop doing that. And then you practice and then it fixes it.
One person I have to call out that is phenomenal at just watching himself is Tom Brady. You know, don't know if you guys like Tom Brady or not, but you cannot hate him for how much dedication he has. This guy wins the Super Bowl. The next day he's watching films.
Yeah.
Right, he's watching films on what he could do better.
Absolutely.
Right, after winning a championship.
Yep.
Right, you know, so that's a great thing. Which, by the way, we got something free for you, because if you want to learn how to develop an online course in 90 days or less and really implement a lot of these principles inside your online course to get that ultimate engagement for your learners, all you got to do is click on that link and sign up. It's right below.
Awesome. And thank you guys for the likes and subscribes.